We want no justice, no peace. This is America. What are you doing?
The final solution is the end of the Jewish race on Earth.
Homosexuals shouldn't have any rights. They're disgusting. They're immoral.
The deepest, darkest hole you can find is not going to save it.
There is deep racial division in the city. An eye for an eye. We shall overcome. Dang!
Hi, everybody. I'm Gabrielle Carteris. How you doing? That I am seeing so many spics and niggers and japs and wops and kikes, and I bet there's some faggots here too, right?
You bet.
Excuse me, did I shock you? Did I offend you? Have you never heard these words before? You've never thought these words before? Who here has never experienced prejudice? That's what I thought. The truth is that we are all prejudiced, and ignoring it will not make it go away. So we are here to talk it out. We are here to face the hate, because we will never get rid of hate until we understand where it comes from. Now, a lot of people have asked me, Gabrielle, why are you doing this? And I tell them because I know people are ready for change. And more importantly, I know they're ready to change. And the next hour, you're going to see some things you might find offensive and upsetting good. That is the whole idea. It's time for us to stand up and shout that we are not going to tolerate the hate anymore. So stay with me, and in a minute, we will face the hate together. Do we have the right to hate? Well, what do you think? Does she have the right to hate? Does he? Do you? Well, the answer is yes. It's America. And each of us has the right to hate. It's just too bad that it is so popular. And let me tell you, hate is incredibly popular. Whites against African Americans, men against women, straights against gays, skinheads against Asians. The Attorney General's office says hate crimes are the fastest growing problem in this country. And let's face it, it's the fastest growing problem in the world. Now, I know. You've heard all this stuff before, and if it doesn't affect you personally, hey, not my problem, right? Wrong. I'm here to let each and every one of you in on a little secret. Someone, somewhere out there, hates you. And I found that out the hard way when I took a trip to Pennsylvania, one of America's hottest recruiting grounds for white supremacists, and I ran head-on into the face of hate.
Sig Heil!
I think hate is natural.
I think in order for there to be love, there has to be hate.
Tell you one thing I really don't hate, I love. I love my race. I love my race to the point to where I'll kill.
God is hate. Hate.
I think the hate movement's gaining momentum in America, but in a different way. Now, instead of having the Klan, you have Christian identity.
We'll turn to Luke, chapter 3.
Christian identity. At a quick glance, this seems like a typical church. But look deeper, because the gospel being preached here is the very definition of hate.
Whatever is destroying our race must be eliminated.
What's destroying your race?
The enemy, the Jew.
The enemy, the Jew, race mixing, faggots.
Tucked away on a rustic country road outside of Allentown, Pennsylvania, is a home full of hate. From the moment I arrived there, it was clear I was not welcome.
So are you a kike or just married to one?
No, I'm Jewish, and I'm married to a Jewish person, too. The house I visited belongs to Mark Thomas. We were told not to show the outside of the house, but the inside felt more like something out of 1930s Germany than America in the 90s. I was surrounded by people who didn't even know me, but hated me anyway. They hated me because I'm Jewish. Or what do you feel is the only way to get rid of the Jews?
Death.
Genocide.
6 million more.
I model myself after Christ. I think Adolf Hitler was a very godly man.
Thomas Thomas is a pastor in the Christian identity movement, but he's also been a leader in the KKK and the Aryan Nation. His sermons call for the return of all blacks to Africa and the ultimate extermination of all Jews.
My Bible does say that the Jews are the people of Satan, and our God commanded us to exterminate them.
The Bible and religion have been used since the beginning of time as a method to justify crimes of intolerance.
Morris Dees is a crusader against hatred and the founder of the Southern Poverty Law Center, a watch group that monitors the activities of hundreds of hate groups.
It's the same things that caused Adolf Hitler to come to power in Germany, the same things that caused the Klan to go after black people in the South in the Civil Rights days. It's no different. It's the same message. It's hate, it's prejudice, it's intolerance.
Can there be any doubt in our mind what God looks like?
Because of my religion, Thomas didn't want me in his church listening to his sermon, but he finally let me in. And when it was over, the members of the church let me know exactly how they felt about me.
I mean, it's just now that bothered you that it touched you.
Yeah.
Can I ask you why?
Because you're a disgusting Jew.
Because I'm a disgusting
Yes.
Jew?
What you are is a child of Satan. I don't know. You just...
Do you really feel that I'm a child of Satan?
You're a piece of shit. Get over there.
These attitudes are passed on from parent to child. August Christ's daughter, Jenny, looks like a typical 14-year-old. She even loves Beverly Hills 90210, but she sure didn't love me.
I want to kill all Jews. I want to do what my God tells me to. But if you had the mark on you, I'd kill you in a second.
And so, how would you kill me?
Grab anything around.
If I knew that it was God and he was commanding me, I'd reach down right now and just take care of business.
I don't teach her to hate, I teach her the truth.
We teach her the truth. I see love every day I see her.
At the end of the day, I was hoping for a break from the hate when I sat down with Patrick and Lori and their 15-month-old daughter, Erica.
How do you feel about homosexuals?
I think it is a disgusting act.
So what do you think about AIDS?
AIDS was a blessing from God.
And how do you feel about blacks?
They're nothing.
If they get out of control, you treat them like a dog.
If a dog bites you, you're going to kick it in the head.
It's a sign of anger and frustration. Some economic, some political, and some just simply people feeling that they lost the opportunity to have a piece of the American dream.
This American dream is beginning to look more like a nightmare. On the coffee table of their little startup apartment is a family photo album full of flag burnings and hate rallies. A portrait of Hitler hangs over their bed, and over Erica's crib, a swastika. I have to tell you, every time I remember that day, all the fear and anger I felt comes flooding back to me, and it just devastates me. Well, what about you? How did it make you feel? Sick?
Terribly frightened, but I believe that something should be done about it. I think we shouldn't just take this kind of thing lying down. But surely these human beings have a potential to be taught. They can learn, could they not? Let's do something about it.
Absolutely, I agree. Who else wants to say something? Here we go.
Just watching that footage made me want to cry, actually, because it's so depressing to watch a beautiful, innocent baby who initially has no prejudice or anything just by birth, like under a swastika. It's really saddening.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what color Adam and Eve was or what color God is or any other kind of thing like that. We're all human beings. And I went through Vietnam, I've gone through South Central Los Angeles, the whole thing, and I know for a fact that as long as people are trying to dog each other out and call each other names and stuff, we're just going to be mired in ignorance and hatred, and that's all it is.
Now, I want you to meet two people who have very strong feelings about this, from very different perspectives. Tony is a skinhead and a member of the Christian identity movement. Robert was never a part of any of this until the face of hate changed his life forever. Robert, can you please tell us what happened? What happened to your son?
On August 10th, 1992, my son's body was found underneath the Jefferson Street train tunnel in Olympia, Washington. He was murdered by two Aryan youth, neo-Nazis men regarding themselves as skinheads. They murdered my son because he was half Thai, half white. They beat his brains out so bad that no reconstructive surgery could recompose his face for the burial. We had to have a closed casket funeral.
So this was just because he was partly Asian.
Because he was Asian American.
Okay, and here we have Tony. Tony, what do you think about this? Do you condone this kind of violence?
Well, my organization does not go out and we don't go killing people. We are for our people. We believe in keeping peace between each other. We want our part of our own country. We want a white America.
And what if somebody else doesn't want that white America?
Well, there have been polls, and 6% of the white people in America and 6 to 7% of the black people in America feel that this is how we should live.
What do you feel about Jews?
I do not like them, no.
You don't like Jews. How do you feel about blacks?
I do not like any other race. I am for my race. That is why I am here. I am not here to preach hatred. I am here to promote my race.
But to be for your race means not to like any other race?
For my race, I do not believe in race mixing. I feel that all the scumbags out in this audience, you will be dealt with, you will be tried and convicted, and your day will come and you will all die.
Excuse me, Tony, how will that happen? What makes them scumbags?
They are not part of my race, they are not part of my culture, they are not part of my people.
And you think what you're saying then is the truth? Let's hear from this man.
I'm Jamel Barnes, and my homeboy, I'm an ex-Godfather Crip. And what she talking about, she better be talking about let's all get along. Because if y'all talking about y'all want some fights, y'all can just come on down to South Central and we can break y'all off up like really proper.
Here, hold on.
This poor woman, speaking from her pain, belongs to only one race, and that's the human race. And unless we teach our children compassion and the ability to live on one planet in unity, we will all surely die together.
I need to ask you, isn't God love?
No.
God is not love?
He loves the white race. He loves his white people.
Did God make the world?
Yes, he created everything on this planet.
So am I a mistake?
I am not.
Am I a mistake? Is this person here a mistake? Is this
you are
person
not
a
of
mistake?
God. You are not of God.
But God made me if God made the planet Earth.
He made everything on this earth is God's creation. I never said that anyone in here was not
Then God can't be
created by
wrong.
God.
Robert, can you go and just talk a little bit about what Tony's saying here?
I'll tell you what, I've studied the Bible. I'm also a Vietnam veteran. My brothers in Vietnam that I watched die were black, were white, were Hispanic. This is not a white America. This is an America of people.
Someday it will be.
Look, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to face the hate and hear from both sides of the skinhead movement and ask the question, is it cool to be cruel? So stay with us.
We shall overcome.
As I mentioned a minute ago, there are two very distinct groups of skinheads. The neo-Nazi kind, like Tony belongs to, and a group that calls themselves the Sharps, which stands for Skinheads Against Racism and Prejudice. Who here is a Sharp?
I used to be a Nazi a long time ago from Fourth Reich, man. I was young and I was stupid, just like you guys are old and stupid.
What made you turn from being a skinhead into a Sharp?
Well, a lot of my friends got busted for doing racist stuff to Jewish church and all that stuff, and I was just young and stupid. And they don't know what the hell they're doing, basically.
We're all skinheads. They're whatever they are. They're punks. They're bald punks.
So what do you guys feel about this, what this gentleman just said?
Yeah, I just feel like, he was part of it. Now he's a traitor. He's nothing, He's nothing
You don't think
to
that
us.
maybe he really has discovered something? There's something to be learned there?
What? You tell me.
Well, is there something to be learned there?
All I got to say is it's a simple solution to us. If you hate us so much, give us a piece of the land. We'll go our own way. We'll have our own nation. You guys leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. Simple as that.
You want a piece of land and it's okay to hate people? I don't understand the correlation.
If we want to go and get our own land and hate people, and kill people, whatever we want to do, that's our right.
To kill people and hate people is your
If
right.
it's the blacks' right to go down in South Central and burn their own city down, we have a right to go do what we want to do.
Where did you learn that? Where do we teach our kids that kind of behavior? Tony, do you agree with what you're hearing here?
Yes, I do. Society brings people up this way.
Society brings people up to commit violence?
It's fine to love who you are, and I love the Korean people. I'm so proud to be a member of the Korean American community. I love my heritage and my culture, but It doesn't mean you have to hate everyone else who is not like you. It's not about that. It's fine if you want to go somewhere and live with your own people. That's fine. If you're not going to hurt anyone, that's okay. But in the process of doing that, you are hurting people. You are being so cruel to people who have nothing against you. Why? Why is that hatred there? What have they done?
Do you have an answer to that, Tony? I've been jumped before for no reason at all before I was a neo-Nazi skinhead by a group of Crips for no reason at all, just because I was white.
So being a victim is not okay?
No, it's not. But we have the right to believe the way we want to.
We're talking about belief and we're talking about violence. Is it okay to be violent?
No, these guys coming to me saying that I'm an inferior race or something like that, that's fine. I'll say they're inferior. If they hit me, I'm going to hit them back. If they shoot me, I'm going to shoot them back.
Is that the answer here, folks? Who here has been victimized by hate? Can you tell me what happened?
My son, Michael Inslee, was shot and killed at Reseda High School. Now, that definitely is an incident of hate. Now, it might not be the typical hate as we're sharing here with the race against race. This was a black-on-black crime. It doesn't matter. Hate is hate. It comes in all colors, all sizes, all denominations. So when you say hate, examine that word. I don't care what your nationality is. You have a right to live. This is America. You have a right to live and grow and experience your dream.
Thank you. Can you please stand up?
I was badly beaten 2 years ago simply because I'm gay, and it just really hurts me that so much of the freedoms that everyone takes for granted, I'm denied, like to be able to hold my boyfriend's hand in public. I have to face the reality of being beaten or even killed because of that, and this is a really important segment of society that has been overlooked for too long. Thank you.
Thank you. Hate crimes, intolerance, victims. How can we get out of this mess? That's our question when we face the hate in a minute.
Children can change the face of hate by channeling it the right way. I would say you can, don't hate people. You can hate a situation. You can certainly hate inanimate objects, but to hate people simply on the basis of who they are and where they come from and a lot of things that they can't control is wrong.
All right. Now we've got a pretty good idea what we're up against. At least in our society, strong emotions like fear and hate come easy to many people. It's tolerance. Tolerance for people and ideas that are different from our own. That has to be learned. This spring, a high-tech museum opened here in Los Angeles dedicated to man's inhumanity to man, from Nazi gas chambers to the LA uprising, with the idea that if we forget the past, we are doomed to repeat it. The museum is the brainchild of Simon Wiesenthal, who spent more than 30 years tracking down Nazi fugitives and who is now determined to prevent future hate crimes from happening. This is Shannon, and this is Carlos. And we asked them to check out the Museum of Tolerance. Here's what they found.
Hello, hello, hello. So you're here to learn about tolerance. They look pretty tolerant already.
My name is Carlos Ibanez. I'm 18 years old, and I stay in the Gardena, California area.
I'm Shannon LaRue. I'm 24 years old, and I'm from Vancouver, Washington. I'm no longer an active member of the neo-Nazi skinhead movement.
You wouldn't have come here if you didn't care, right? That's right.
I'm still uncomfortable with blacks, Jews, Asians, Mexicans, anybody that isn't white.
For Oriental people, I would rather them just stay out of my way.
We all know how we should feel, right? So this part of the museum should be a snap. Let's move on along through the door of your choice, and remember, I like you.
Oh, guess not.
Yes, this is me.
Guess what just moved in next door? I feel like I'm a victim of racism. Ooh. Walking through the malls. When I go for a job interview.
You don't know if I'm Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, and you don't care!
I'd always believed that people shouldn't race mix, that God made us different for a reason, and you should be proud of who you are and what you are and stick with your own kind.
Hey boy, Jungle Bunny, talk to you, nigga.
Sexist pig!
Lousy, gook your mama, hunky. Loudmouth kike.
Welcome to the timeline, understanding the Los Angeles riots. The officers on the scene reported that Rodney King resisted arrest. He was extremely powerful and potentially dangerous.
Why didn't he just stay down?
It's on videotape to me. I see it with my own eyes. He's just laying there getting beat.
The media showed.
I know why they rioted, because that wasn't even fair, you know? That was just their way of getting back, you know, I guess at the white man, I guess.
The televised beating of Reginald Denny marked the beginning of uncontrolled violence.
Look at my people.
But still, only hours after
this is anger. What we taking out is anger.
Did that really make it right? Did that really serve any kind of justice?
Until the 1960s, there existed in America two societies, separate and unequal, one for whites and one for people of color.
I feel the Orientals and the white people's above us still, no matter what we do.
But I wasn't raised with them. I never have lived with them, and I'm not going to start now.
We went into downtown Portland once on what we called nigger night, and we went downtown looking for blacks, so we're going to get beat up.
What is happening in America?
If I don't have to love anybody, I don't want to love.
Well, sir, can we pray together, you and I?
You do your praying, I do mine, big boy.
I can't believe people get treated like this. I don't care what the color is, you know? I was like, dang.
Anyone other than your white brothers and sisters are your enemy. You have no tolerance for the enemy. Destroy, eradicate the enemy. Mercy is for the weak.
What's skinhead? What's a skinhead?
Basically, junior Klansmen.
Y'all just basically white, y'all not Jewish?
They do not like Jews. They're the worst.
Before long, his cry, "We will free Germany from the power of the Jews," echoed throughout the land.
I still believe that the numbers in the Holocaust were faked. There is just no way 6 million died.
Thousands of men, women, and children were rounded up and put on trains by the Nazis. To the very last moment, many had no idea they were about to be murdered in the gas chambers.
No one could feel the way those people did back then. No way.
I feel that some people did die, but a lot of them died from starvation.
The diesel engine started up. 32 minutes later, all those in the gas chamber were dead.
I just wish everybody just got along. That's all I want in the future.
Shannon and Carlos, you just returned from the Museum of Tolerance. Is there anything that you've been thinking of since then? Anything that stuck with you? What about you, Shannon?
Well, a few things have stuck in my head. Mostly what I still remember is talking with Carlos, and I've been a lot more tolerant since we came back from the museum than I was before. I'll put up with more.
You'll put up with more?
It's still, some of the things kind of click in your mind, but you just kind of learn to keep your mouth shut and just deal with it.
Okay, Carlos, what about you?
Well, while I was in there, like, I watched, you know, I looked at all the stuff on the skinhead. I don't understand it, to tell you the truth. I don't understand what they trying to do. You know, I was talking to her, and she, you know, she's cool to me even though she was a skinhead. I don't got nothing against her. But, you know, listening to them, man, they don't have no future. Just listen to people, what they're saying today. You can't change their mind no matter what you do. We should just, you know, try to start something new, you know, with our kids, because it's too late now. It's too late.
For you, Shannon, now you're in big transition. You were a skinhead, is that correct?
That's correct.
In your leaving, have you also gone and left the whole belief system behind, or are you still living that?
Well, half and half. I mean, I haven't been out that long, and I still have a lot of questions and a lot of struggles, and people, you know, have hated since time began. It's always been there.
It's always been there. Where do young people learn this intolerance? They learn it at home, at school, on the street, on television, and in the movies. And more, there's intolerance in the music we listen to. Jay, where are you? Hi. Jay is a German musician who was so outraged by racist lyrics in German music that he is now leading the fight against them. Now, you are advocating censorship in the music in Germany, is that correct?
Well, in Germany, there's a very special situation. I'm from East Berlin. I grew up there, and since the unification, there's lots of violence and lots of hate now from the government also. And there is a very dangerous situation now, and these bands, they really get very popular, and I think in a democracy, you should not allow something under the name of democracy that actually is against that democracy and wants to stop freedom of speech.
What about the First Amendment?
I think people should have freedom of speech, of course, but if it's hate, then I think there should be borders, because it's incitement to hate, and this can have results, that are pretty bad.
We have another musician in our audience. Now, Marty is a man who's a member of a group called Extreme Hatred. What do you have to say about that?
We have the right to say what we want to say, and if that's hating somebody, so what? That's what we're saying. If it causes violence, so be it. It's simple. It's like we get the hassles, We say what we want to say, we get the hassles. We're ganged up on, so to speak. We fight back in self-defense.
But so you don't do it deliberately to entice violence? How do you feel about what Marty's saying here?
Well, freedom of speech is one thing, but promoting hate is another thing.
Right.
There are many things.
We use hate to get our message across.
But what about the First?
We love to hate. Put it to you that way.
What about the First Amendment, freedom of speech? Let's listen to some of the words. Extreme Hatred has a song from Judgment Day. It goes like this. Sitting on edge, we are waiting to attack. Once we go, there's no turning back. Shoot to kill will destroy everything. It's now a race war thanks to Rodney King. All right, whoa. All right, can you stand up for this one here?
Okay, as far as the lyrics go in music, yeah, it's hatred, both on both sides, for them and for us, because we all know rap music got a lot of hatred in it. We already know the song Cop Killer, and we already got songs that's talking about Revolutionary War, because, they thinking about, most brothers out now are thinking about to fight hate upon hate,
So do we feel here that the First Amendment, then, it's all right to say what you want to say, but the First Amendment does not allow us the right to hurt?
You talk about First Amendment rights, you talk about the right to say this, the right to hate, the right not to hate, all that. I don't want to be tolerated. I don't want to be put up with. What I want is I want to be respected. I want my difference, all that's different about me, to be celebrated, and then we'll get to the point where appreciating difference and all that. I don't want to be homogenized into a human race kind of feeling. I want to be special and different and respected for that difference, and then I in turn can respect you. I'm not behind this whole American thing.
All right, thank you. As you can see, there are no quick and easy answers to the problems of intolerance. And when we come back, we'll be taking it to the streets where the battle against hateism is either going to be won or lost.
It's important to face the hate because it's what's happening out there today. We have to face the truth. We have to face what's going on, period. We can't ignore it like we have been for the longest time, and that's why all this hell broke loose. It's time that everyone listens. It's time that everyone respects one another. It's time to shut up, stand up, and behave.
You're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. But how can you become part of the solution? We'll tell you in a minute when we face the hate. When you listen to some of the people we've heard on this show, it's easy to get depressed about hateism. But there are plenty of other people, other organizations, even whole cities that are out there on the front lines fighting prejudice and ignorance every day. Here's a glimpse of what's going on. The face of hate can appear anywhere, even in the heartland of America like Dubuque, Iowa, where racial taunting, cross burnings, and even KKK rallies have become all too familiar.
I don't like blacks. Some of them have attitude problems. I'm not saying all of them. I don't hate all blacks.
I don't think they ought to even be allowed in town.
I think the biggest problem why racism has continued and continued and continued is nobody has opened up their mouth. The silence is choking us.
When Carmen Hall Miller came to town, Dubuque was called the most racist city in America. She moved to the nearly all-white town to head the Council for Diversity. Her job?
A lot of providing information, a lot of answering the tough questions, and then just trying to create a relationship where it's we are family, we are trying to change, we are involved. It's not Carmen is going to do. It's no, we, the city of Dubuque, is going to do.
Carmen issued a racial wake-up call, starting with the young people.
Who is the song dedicated to or inspired by?
Who is Martin Luther King Jr.?
I think it shows idealism and a willingness to change. Dubuque isn't the ideal environment, but with a group like this, you kind of get in the right mindset.
I think everyone just has to be aware that, you know, everyone's different, and that's what makes the world a neat place. And you just have to learn to accept that.
I'm sorry, we are not all Europeans. We are Native, we are Hispanic, we are Asian, and we are African. That is who we are. We're a big stir fry, not a melting pot, a big stir fry.
Whenever I hear something like racist or sexist, I feel that it's like my obligation to say something about it.
We don't necessarily have to like what someone else says or does, but at least we should respect their choice to believe that way.
What you gonna do about hate? Hate! What you gonna do about hatred? What you gonna do about hate? Hate! What you gonna do about hatred?
What you gonna do about hate? Make no mistake, we've got to do something, and that's the goal of City Kids, a group of young people who've not only made some noise with their message, they've made some music. City Kids is a safe place for young adults to confront and overcome the in-your-face hostility they deal with every day.
It's really important to me that we realize that we have a lot of power as young people. As much as we're squished on, we have lots of power.
You can have profound effect on other people by just walking the walk and not just talking the talk.
What you gonna do about hate? Hate! What you gonna do about hate? What you gonna do?
Floyd Cochran embraced hate as national spokesman for the Aryan Nation.
As far as who we hated, black people, Asian people, Native American people, Jewish people, people who didn't think like us, walk, look, and act like us, then you were on the list. You were suspect.
Last year, Floyd did a 180-degree turn, renouncing racism and hatred of all kinds.
I have to deprogram 15 years of living Aryan nations 24 hours a day. That doesn't just happen overnight.
What made him see the light? His neo-Nazi friends threatened to kill Floyd's son because of a birth defect.
My youngest son was born with a cleft palate. When I was told that he would have to be euthanized because he was a genetic defect, set a whole bunch of alarms off inside of me. This is my son we're talking about.
Floyd now wages a one-man war against the radical right, exposing their secret tactics and targets of hate.
That's how I started as a racist, with stereotyping people.
We found him talking to students at Williams College in Massachusetts, site of recent campus prejudice.
We are a melting pot of all nations. We need to learn, and I know that we can learn it, for I am unlearning hatred, but we need to learn to embrace a spirit of equality that transcends all people, regardless of race, faith, gender, sexual orientation. The most simple and basic things in life. Love.
I'd like you all to meet Carmen Hall Miller, Floyd Cochran, and the man President Bill Clinton considers a hero, Charles Rachel, an ex-gang member who helped mediate the truce between the Crips and the Bloods, LA's rival gangs. Come on in. Thank you. Charles, I have to ask you, I think it's amazing, but how did you pull it off?
Well, you know, first of all, I didn't pull it off. We all pulled it off. All of that was a part of it. You know, I give grace to God for placing the peace within our heart due to the past 15 years of, you know, violence and things that have been taking place in our lives down in the street corners in South Central LA. The only thing I did was start a nonprofit program about it along with a few other brothers and sisters that was a part of the gang truce organizations. You know.
But why?
Well, you know, as you grow older, you get tired of shooting at each other over something that we all didn't start, you know, participating in the violent activities that was growing up in our environment, way ahead of us, you know, and then you get older, you get much wiser. You know, me, I spent like 3 years in incarceration for taking a life. I have a daughter that's 9 years old. I have to look after her. I have to take heed of that, and I also have kids on the street that I look after. I'm looking like a role model too, so I have to play that role model image towards them, no matter what nobody else say. And I got tired of people telling me what I can't do, what can't be done in your life, what you only prone to do because you're black, because you can do this. I don't pay that no attention because I know what I can do. And if no one out there could stop me from doing that. So I pursued it, and I hope to make a career out of it.
I think that's great. So what can we do? Can we make changes? Are there solutions? How can we face the hate?
We can start by communicating with one another. You know, if everybody has a communication, is not, you know, open-minded, and be open-minded to one's culture or one's ethnicity or one's gang or something, then everybody can get along because you won't feel like you're an outcast or something. So I think communication is one of the key things.
Communication, I agree. I agree. In fact, when we talk about communication, I would like to know, Floyd, if you could say one thing to the young people here right now, what would it be? What would you want to say?
No, first of all, don't give in to your likes and preferences. We all have certain dislikes and preferences about things, and it's very easy to cross them over into the doctrines of hate. I don't prefer to be gay, but at the same time, gay people and lesbian people do have a right to live and do have a right to a decent home, do have a right to a job and so forth. So I think the big thing is to ensure that we do not let that cross over.
And for you, Carmen, if you could say one thing right now out to the youth, what would it be?
Well, one, it's very important that young people be accountable for their actions. What you're doing today is going to affect the younger people behind you. I think one is you have to realize that when you're accountable, you're responsible, and when you have that pride, you go out and do things for yourself. You don't want someone to give you, because no one owes you anything in this world. You owe yourself. And so be responsible, be accountable, and open your mouths.
I'd like to hear some of the solution people here. Can you speak first?
Yes, I think we need to stop preaching fear, and we need to stop teaching fear. I think behind racism and hatred of all kinds, no matter what it is, no matter what the color, what the cause, it all starts with fear. If we didn't have that fear, if we wouldn't have that fight, that gun wouldn't go off. We'd be walking together instead of firing at each other.
Absolutely. Over here, please.
I think the key word is responsibility, as this young lady has said. It's responsibility of those who are in education, the government. It's also the responsibility of those of us who have children. We give too much glory to hate and acts of violence and racism.
All right, over there, please.
First of all, I like to say that these people have a right to believe in whatever they want to believe in, but you're wasting your time by just sitting here, you know, being racist when you can be doing something that's better for this world.
Can you please stand up?
The one thing I'd like to say, being here for this hour, is facing the hate will only work if we face the hate inside of us.
Absolutely. You know, I'm beginning to feel optimistic, and there's more on the way. When we come back, our audience here is going to give you more suggestions on how you can get involved and make a difference. So, stick around.
The one thing I would say to young people about the difference that they can make would be that you have the choice within yourself to be positive or negative, good or bad, optimistic or pessimistic. The choice is yours. You make it.
Okay. Well, we've only got a few minutes left, so who here wants to talk about solutions? Who wants to talk about making a difference? Over here, please.
First of all, much kudos to you for exploring a subject that, you know, is volatile, but it needs to be addressed anyway. I think racism is alive and well the world over because we have not learned from our history. And if you don't learn from history, you're destined to repeat it. We've talked a lot about education here today, and that's fine and that's well, and that's a jumping off point. However, that education has to reflect who we are as a nation. That's what education is about.
Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Dawn Lewis, and like Gabrielle, being in the entertainment industry puts me in a position, whether I like it or not, to break down certain barriers. The world is too small for you to believe that you can be here by yourself and not have to interact or respect anyone else's opinion or beliefs or cultures. The bottom line is, we're here. I'm going to be on your television. I'm going to be on the cover of your magazines. I'm going to be on the radio. So all you can do is accept me and believe that there's more of me coming. And when I say me, I mean more women, more Asians, more Hispanics, more Haitians, more gay people. We are here, bottom line. You got a lot of people to kill and go through for you to be here by yourself.
Well, thank God, solutions and making a difference difference are not just left to adults, but we have a lot of young people out there who are truly making a difference. And one of those people is right here, and her name is Ashley. Can you stand up first, Ashley? How old are you?
I'm 12.
Can you tell me what you've done to make a difference in your community?
Well, I spearheaded a petition drive against the neo-Nazi video game, which was being circulated in Austria, Germany, and underground in the United States. And in this game, you act as a commandant of a Nazi concentration camp, and you try to kill as many Jews and Turks as you can. The more people you kill, the more points you earn to buy gas chambers and other things. And I was horrified.
So tell me, why were you horrified?
Because this game, if children didn't know it was wrong to begin with, they would never know that this was wrong. And this game was totally brainwashing them to hate and to be prejudiced.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. All right. Over here, please.
I know we all have the power to heal each other. For sure we know now that we can all destroy each other. And that begins with one conversation at a time, one heart at a time, one day at a time, one soul at a time.
Thank you. We have people here who are in the midst of creating solutions in their communities and in this country. Can you stand up first, please?
One of the things that we're doing in the city of Los Angeles, one of many things, is providing an atmosphere for our youth to learn about who they are, their culture, their ethnicity, and it's not to separate us, to separate us apart from the whole, but to have young people understand that they do come from a background that they can be proud of. So if you hate anyone because of a different ethnic background, you hate yourself. And it's time that we learn to focus on love, because God does command us to love one another, not to hate one another.
Thank you. And here's one more thing that you can do. Now, if you see a hate crime, don't ignore it. Report it. Call the Department of Justice's hate crime hotline, 1-800-347-HATE. That's 1-800-347-HATE. Make a difference.
We shall overcome.
Well, we've got a lot left to say, but we're almost out of time. So I just want to thank all the panelists and the wonderful audience for coming. And I also want to thank the Jewish Television Network, Social Reform Inc., the Center for Democratic Renewal, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and many, many more. You've all been great. Lastly, I just want to tell all of you that being a part of this show has been a very emotional experience for me. From my life being threatened to all the amazing people who I've met who have given me so much hope for the future. I'm Gabrielle Carteris. Now I want you all to go out there and face the hate and end it once and for all. Goodbye and thank you.
What you gonna do about hate? Hate. What you gonna do about hatred? What you gonna do about hate? Hate. What you gonna do about hatred? See? What you gonna do about it? 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 Jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up, wheel up, jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up. The hate is over. The hate is over. But right back. The hate is over. The hate is over. Hey, hey, children, tell me what do you say? I don't wanna contribute negativity. Reality is all the reality. Gotta get the young chubby priority number one. But Mr. Bush says it's more important. Go to Iraq, fight a man named Saddam. Not diggity, them not really care about the education. Follow me, them man them building a weak nation. Say the black man in the white man in the white man in the black. Some of them media boy around with a gun, some them fire shot. And the Puerto Rican don't love Dominican. Dominican man don't love no Asian. European man don't love no African. African man don't love no Asian. Asian man don't love American. Come follow me. More love, say we must understand. We need more love in this community. Come follow me. More love from everybody. More love in this community. Come follow me. More love from everybody. Come follow me. More love in this community. Come follow me. More love from everybody.